From the factory floors of the world to the voices that power the spindles and spark innovation. This is The Gunn Show. Hosted by Tony Gunn, the machinist turned global storyteller who's been inside more factories than most people have been inside Walmart. Get ready for unfiltered conversations with the mind shaping the future of manufacturing. It's raw, it's real, it's worldwide. Special thanks to our incredible sponsors, because without you, there is no show. Much love to Revelation Machinery, Ebita Growth Systems, AMT, IMTS, NTMA, Tecma, Shop Floor Coffee, and the American Precision Museum. And if you're one of the proud few who bleed coolant and dream intolerances, welcome to the Machinist Club, a worldwide brotherhood and sisterhood of people who machine the unseen that move the world. Grab your gear, rep the movement, and join the club now at TonyGunn.com. Powered by MTD CNC, this is The Gunn Show. Welcome back to The Gunn Show, my friends. I appreciate you all being here. If you have tuned in because you were showing up for The Gunn Show and you were going to hear about the coolest weapons on the planet or the biggest muscles on the planet, I don't have either of those, so I apologize. But I hope you stay because I have a wonderful guest today. And if you're joining me and you'd like to know a little bit more about what The Gunn Show might be, it's humanizing manufacturing. All the things around us that are made or touched or conceived by the people in manufacturing, we bring it to life here. We want you to know the humans behind the scenes, the one making the parts, the one financing the parts, the one growing and selling the parts, even the accounting department, shipping department. We want you to know them all. That's the point of The Gunn Show, manufacturing and the excitement of being a human and getting to know them. Today, I am very excited because I have a good friend of mine. Her name is, can you guess? Can you see her? I don't know if you can. Certainly, if you're on Spotify, you cannot see her because there's no video. Apple, Google, you can't see her either, but she has a fantastic smile. My good friend, Amy Weader. She is the Vice President, First American Manufacturer and Finance. Amy, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Tony. Thanks so much for asking. Thanks for having me.
Oh, are you kidding me? The moment you were like, I would love to join you, I'm like, I'd love to have you. I cannot wait to share your story. So I'm here looking. I always have a cheat sheet, right? And LinkedIn is usually my cheat sheet. I know how people love to scroll through TikTok and like, ha, ha, that's funny. Or Instagram, like, that's the cutest dog and cat ever. But LinkedIn is my go-to. LinkedIn is my social media feed, and I utilize it as my cheat sheet. And I'm looking here at your experience, Amy. You've actually been at First American Equipment Finance for a long time. But before that, marketing representative elsewhere. And it looks like you have a cool education that I hadn't seen before. Sunny Brockport with a degree in marketing intern, volunteer, Flower City Habitat for Humanity. You got a lot going on, Amy. So I always like to know how the heck we got where we are today. You are in the machining world. We did a webinar together recently. Super fun, by the way. Very professionally put together. It was fun for me to host. But I want to know about you. I want to know your details. Did you mean to get in manufacturing? Was it an accident? Because obviously you went to school for marketing. Tell me about you.
It's so true. Yeah, it was kind of an accident, but it feels like home because, growing up, my dad always worked in manufacturing. He was an electrician for Kodak, which is a company that was here in Rochester. They're not so big anymore, but they used to be huge in the 80s. And so I love being in manufacturing, so it really feels like it's my roots. But myself, I graduated high school and thought I wanted to start my own business. So I went to school for business, and then I was like, I think I want to do accounting. So I tried accounting for a while, and it wasn't that I wasn't good at it. I was pretty good at it, but I was so bored, and I was like sad. I never got to talk to anybody, and I love to talk, so it wasn't for me. And so I went back for my bachelor's degree and went for marketing because someone said you'd probably be pretty good at sales or marketing. And I believed them. So I went back for that, graduated thinking, I'll see if I can get into sales or graphic design or because I'm very creative as well. So I was like, something that's gonna, get me around people so I can be creative. And I landed in sales and was doing great. I had an inkling because during my time at college, I spent a summer living and working in Yellowstone National Park. And I basically like took any job that I could take to get there. And that was what I got. I got sales. So I was living in Yellowstone and selling vacations to Yellowstone while I lived there. Like over the phone, like people would call and be like, my family's coming to Yellowstone, and I had been all over the place in Yellowstone. I was like hiking on every hour that I had off. And so I was really great at selling the vacations and I kept winning all of these awards for it. And so I thought it was really fun. And I thought, yeah, sales could be for me. So went back into sales. I was doing that for a while and was successful. And someone who works for First American kind of headhunted me and found me, and I said yes. I started my career at First American working with a broader range of companies. So at that time, I was part of a vertical called Enterprise, which was manufacturing companies. However, we also served marketing companies and business service companies and logistics companies. So, a lot more variety than just manufacturing, but we continue to grow like crazy. So as we grew, they were like, we need to figure out how to get more people in here, how we're going to slice this up. And so I am on the manufacturing specific vertical now. A lot of the people I used to work with in logistics, they work with our logistics folks now who are really skilled at working with logistics companies, and same with marketing companies and all of that. So that's how we grew. And that's how I landed in manufacturing finance. And I love it here. I love the people that I get to meet. I love the stories I get to hear about the companies that I work with. And I love the challenge of it. And I'm a happy lady. So I think it shines through when I'm working with my manufacturing clients. And it's really fun to see their successes, professionally and personally and all of that. It's really awesome.
Well, we're going to get into this in just a minute, but I have to step back into Yellowstone. Oh my goodness gracious. Are you kidding me? Anyone who might have seen my face when you were mentioning that, because I didn't realize that was part of your career path. And I visited for the first time ever. It's probably been a year now, maybe a little less than a year, but I went to Bozeman, Montana. And I
Yes,
was,
yeah,
you know, Bozeman?
I do. Yeah, that's where I flew into. So I left my little small town that I grew up in, teeny tiny town outside of Rochester. We have 1 square mile. And the college that I went to, SUNY Brockport, it's actually just one town over from where I grew up. So I really hadn't left. I hadn't really gone very far at all. So I flew for one of the first times in my life from Rochester to Bozeman. And Bozeman's airport is tiny, and it's like really one of the only airports I've ever visited. It was like Bozeman, I'd been to Charleston, 'cause that's where my mom's from, but um, it was like tiny. Like you show up, it's just one big room. And like you can see, like when you get off, you can see where you're gonna pick up your bag and where you're gonna catch the bus and like all of the stuff. You can see it right there. It's just one big room, and it was hilarious. Have you been to the Bozeman Airport?
I have. That's where I flew in and out of as well.
Yeah.
I was
Has it
doing some
grown?
filming over there. No, no, I remember it being pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I flew into there and I was doing some work for a company that was making split boards. Do you know what split boards are?
No. Mm-mm.
I'm sure you know what skiing is and snowboarding, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So imagine a snowboard broken in half, and that's a split board. So around when 20,
Huh.
so split boarding's kind of been. I'm going to tell the story that I learned from them. Not that I've actually
Yeah.
done it before, although I'd love
Okay.
to. But from them, split board has always been a thing. Split boarding. But when COVID hit and all of the resorts got shut down, it took off. So around 2020, when all the resorts shut down, they bought all these machines and all this automation. And so a company called Mitaco took me in there to do some filming on how they're utilizing automation and what they're making. And what I learned was, if you imagine a split board broken in half and you take those two pieces, and I always describe it in a very poor way, but did you ever watch the cartoons when the cartoons were walking on two tennis rackets on top of the snow? I'm in Windsor, Vermont today at the American Precision Museum, and I have the wonderful opportunity to show you the insides of a historical landmark from 1846.
So when I first heard about the American Precision Museum, I thought, all right, this is neat because it's history and it talks about the beginning of really the industry as I know it. But as I came to visit and got more involved and aware of the mission of the museum and what is really happening here, I got more excited because it's more than just a collection of machines. It's a place that really strives to inspire and educate people about manufacturing and precision manufacturing.
Yeah, yeah.
So imagine broken in half. That's kind of what this is, like a smaller version of two skis that you can walk in the remote places of the outback of Montana, right? Or anywhere in the world, because it's but all the people who were making these things were all locals, and they just loved their hobby so much they turned it into a job. So you walk up the hills on these two pieces, you staple them, not staple them, that's a bad way to describe it. You snap them together, and it becomes a snowboard, and then you just sled down it. So that was why I got to, yeah, that was why I got to go to Bozeman, Montana. But I then took the opportunity to drive south through Yellowstone, go into Wyoming a little bit, Jackson Hole, and then drive to Idaho, and so the Hot Springs area, and then down into Salt Lake City, which is where I was doing my next area of filming. So long story long, as you've always learned from me, Amy, Yellowstone is incredible. And although everyone's fell in love with that TV show, it's more than that TV show. It is waterfalls and geysers. And can you share some of your favorite moments about Yellowstone?
Sure. Oh my goodness. I love talking about Yellowstone. I could talk about that all day. So I lived in an area called Mammoth Hot Springs, in Yellowstone National Park. So that's up towards the top of Yellowstone. And they had dorms there for the people who worked there. We were all seasonal. It's very rough to be there in the winter. It's very, very snowy. It's hard to get around. So most people only stay for the summer, which is what I did. And the lifestyle itself was interesting. So we had telephones, but really our cell phones only worked in certain places. So we didn't have a lot of communication like back home. I was having to go into town to use a computer for personal reasons. Like you had to really travel to get any sort of signal, like you really did. So I had a computer at work, but really they were like, just you use this one for work. And I had my cell phone, but it only worked sometimes. So we were pretty isolated, but it was awesome. So it was, a lot of young people, and then a lot of American young people, but also people from all over the world came to work there for the summer. So I was able to meet so many different people from so many different cultures. And it was so eye-opening for a young I was a younger person then, and I was just really isolated growing up in Holly. It was a teeny tiny town. So it was very, very cool for that reason. And then also for all of the different sites I got to see. I didn't have a car there because I flew in and took a bus to get there. When I got there, the day that I got there, they did like the employee orientation in like a barn. And I was like, what did I do? Like I signed up for this job. Over the internet, I took some phone calls and like set it all up. And my parents are like, are you sure? I was like, trust me, it's gonna be fine. It's totally fine, And then I got there and I was like, I hope this is fine. It was fine. It was amazing. It was amazing. And the company that I worked for, they asked for feedback. I was like, probably don't hold the employee orientation in a barn. Like, put it somewhere a little bit nicer. But from, that day forward, I was just so happy. So June 10th is the day that I showed up, and it was a snowstorm. And I'm from Rochester, New York area, a little town outside of Rochester. We get snow all the time, but I left my winter coat at home because I figured it was June and I wouldn't need it. But yeah, it was freezing cold, and you couldn't see. I mean, it was like whiteout conditions, blizzard. And I was like, okay, cool, here we go.
In June.
In June 10th was the day that I showed up. And so I took a couple days to get used to the altitude. And then the day that I started feeling like well enough to go out and go hiking, we did this tour, and it was just a blizzard, whiteout conditions, complete blizzard. So yeah, I was like, wow, this place is intense. They are not joking around. But we spent so much time exploring. So I made a bunch of friends there, and we would go out exploring on our days off. I worked 4 days a week, 10-hour shifts, and then 3 days a week I would go exploring with my friends. And so I have a whole list of like my favorite hikes and what I think everyone should see while they're there. And I guess my biggest tip is when you're in Yellowstone, if you see someone pulled over on the side of the road, you should also pull over on the side of the road because they're probably looking at something very incredible. And so you just get out and you say, hey, what are you looking at? And it's probably like a bear or, animals fighting over food or a waterfall or something incredible or a geyser. I mean, there's so many crazy things there. Um, I mean, some people don't even believe when I tell them some of the things that I saw. Like we used to go swimming in a place called the Boiling River, which is where, you sit in the river and it's nice, cool water, like very cool because it's like mountain stream water. But then also there's this hot water that flows down from the mountain because it's all heated by the geothermal stuff that's going on under the earth. And so you have like warm water coming down over you, like on your shoulders and everything. It's really relaxing. And then you're sitting in like the river though, which is cold. And it was just a really fun way to spend the weekend. So I don't know. The whole experience was amazing.
That sounds like my body would be confused.
It
So
is really
my
weird.
lower
Yeah.
half is cold and my upper half is warm. How's that work?
That's just like that. Yeah. And it takes a second to get used to it. And the river itself is actually pretty strong. That was my biggest, like, I was just like, don't get taken down the river. Like, just get to the spot where you're trying to sit down because there's a current and you don't want to get like taken away. Um, but yeah, it's just like that. And it does feel confusing. You're like, this is so strange. But people have been going there forever. Like, I don't even know how long. Um, so it's very cool. A lot of the stuff that I saw there might not be there anymore because there was a huge flood, actually. Yeah. So the road that I used
Mm.
to take from Mammoth Hot Springs, like up into the little town that we used to go to like eat and go out for nightlife, that road kind of like got washed away. And then they had to rebuild it. So I don't know. I'll
Mm.
have to go back and see what's going on.
Did you watch the Yellowstone series?
Yes, I did. I
And what are your
loved the whole
thoughts?
thing. I mean, I loved it. It had nothing to do with like
Yellowstone, right?
Yellowstone.
Right.
I loved the show though. It was really good.
So
Yeah.
you're from a small town you mentioned, right? You grew up in a
Yeah.
small area.
Hmm.
Where are you currently? Is it Rochester, New York?
Yeah, Rochester, which is still it's a very small city. I think we have 200,000 people. So, yeah.
Bigger than your town though, right?
Oh, yeah. I think we have 2,000 people in the town that I grew up in.
Oh my gosh. I do. I remember when the first stoplight was put in my hometown, actually, in the little country place I lived in Virginia when I grew up. And I
It sounds,
remember, what's that?
it sounds the same.
Well, I think we had 12,000, so we were 10,000 bigger than you. We were huge.
How were you
Not.
doing without a stoplight that whole time? I don't understand.
I don't. It's a big place. It's a big area of land, spread out, and 12,000 might be an exaggeration, but it was small. I remember the first stoplight. I remember when McDonald's came into town. I was like, huh, that's local now. How about that? I don't have to drive an hour and a half to do something. I remember
Yeah.
when Food Lion came into town. I remember when gas station. I left before the Taco Bell and the Wendy's made it, but our hangout spot was called the Red Barn. Yeah, I feel you on the small stuff. I do.
Oh, yeah. This
And
sounds very similar to my upbringing for sure.
hey there, manufacturers. Need to sell your surplus CNC machinery? Whether it's vertical machining centers, CNC lathes, or machines from top brands like Yazda, Matsur, or Watchon, let me introduce you to Revelation Machinery. If you've never worked with a used machinery dealer before, here's what you're missing. Selling equipment on your own can mean long waits, low offers, and lots of time chasing leads. Revelation Machinery changes the game, bringing nationwide exposure to your machines. Their team is located across the USA, so wherever you are, you've got a local expert on your side. Revelation doesn't just list your equipment, they use targeted marketing methods to get your machines in front of serious buyers. Revelation Machinery is committed to fair pricing, full transparency, and taking care of the details. From paperwork to logistics and even rigging if you need it, they're there every step of the way so you're not juggling any part of the process alone. Ready to let a trusted partner handle the heavy lifting? Head to revelationmachinery.com/The Gunn Show to see how easy it is to turn that surplus machinery into cash with Revelation Machinery. And Yellowstone, my favorite memory was watching hundreds of bison walk by, and it was just surreal, just seeing them. In fact, I made a full like 4 or 5 minute montage video of how beautiful Yellowstone was from my one trip there. But I'm ready to segue because I'm ready to give your company some flowers. I think that's what the kids are calling it these days, right? When we give somebody compliments.
I should know because I have a 12-year-old and but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Oh, you're not old enough for a 12-year-old. Stop lying to me. But I think it is called giving someone their flowers. That's what they deserve, the credit. So I'm looking right now. First American Equipment Finance is headquartered in Rochester, which is where you're based.
Yeah.
But what I noticed that stood out, and you're going to tell me the details about what you do, how you do it, how you can help others. Finance is obviously, when I do interviews for people in finance, they never trend because it's not chips flying across or fire or these types of things that are easily attention grabbing on YouTube or LinkedIn or these areas, right? So it's tough to make it trend, but how every time I have a conversation, I'm so like I love learning from people in that field because of the importance that you guys have with helping a machine shop succeed based on interest rates and capabilities and willingness to trust them and sometimes turning a blind eye and saying we believe in you. It's really cool to see that aspect of it, although I've never had the opportunity to participate, so I'm excited to learn. But before I do, I want to give you guys the flowers, as the kids say these days. As I'm looking here for everyone, number one best company to work for in New York by Best Companies Group. Number one top workplace in Rochester, midsize by Energage. Number 9 top workplace in USA, midsize by Energage. Number 3 Fortune Best workplaces in New York, small to medium. Number 4. I mean, this is a massive list. Number 4, Fortune Best Workplaces in Financial Services. Number 16, Fortune Best Medium-Sized Workplaces in the U.S. Number 14, it was 16 for the last one. Number 14, Best Workplaces for Millennials. Number 74, People, Companies That Care. And number 25, Largest Equipment Finance Company in the U.S. by New Business Volume by Monitor. Wow. I mean, that's a lot. You have a lot going on there.
Yeah, it's a very vibrant company. Yes, we have so much going on. And all of those accolades, like I can tell you, I've been here 11 years. There's a reason for that. 11 going on 12, actually. So a long time. And it's just a really wonderful place to work where people care about each other and we care about our clients. So, we strive to be the best company to work for and the best company to work with. And we live that every single day. It's really wonderful. This year I rejoined, we have a committee, it's called the Culture and Communications Committee. So we have, people from different departments in the company. We all come together to talk about, ways that we can make sure that this remains the top workplace for all of those different categories, for every different person. We really strive to make sure that it's an inviting atmosphere, that it's, everything you would want from a company, especially this day and age where, we're hoping that people come into the office and we want people to stick around. And it's, there's been so much change over the past, 5-6 years. It's been a lot for everybody. So we work hard every single day to make sure that, everyone's happy and we're all getting what we want from the workplace. So it's really cool. We're working on some really fun initiatives too this year. We have fun initiatives. We have very important initiatives, all sorts of things. And they really try to pull from the employee base instead of having it come from, top down. They really work with the employees that they have in the workforce to see what is it that employees want. And I think that's how they do it. That's how we all do that, get all of those accolades. It's because we're all working towards it. And we all have a say, we all have a voice. That's absolutely true.
What do you think? And you've kind of highlighted this a little bit, and all of those accolades for your company certainly do. But what personally keeps you around? You said almost 12 years now, right?
Yeah.
What personally brings you in day to day, keeps you excited and smiling? 12 years, let's be honest, like I don't want to throw myself under the bus, but I think I'm about to. I have never spent 12 years at one company my entire life because I've always learned and grown and learned and grown, and I think I would make the discussion that the generation above me is very well known. The ones that are retiring now and had retired are very well known for staying in one place for 40, 50 years. I was an intern when I was in high school, and I'm retiring next year from the same company. And I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm a little younger than the ones retiring right now, but certainly there's people younger than me. That's easy to say. Um, and I would say that my generation and the generation below me, as a general rule, will bounce from place to place, not irreverently for a general rule, not just to be rude, but to gain growth in whether it be monetary financial situations or in education situations. There's a lot of limits sometimes put on people, and some people want to grow, right? And so we hear less and less of people staying long term, as I recently described. So I personally, the longest I've been in a place was nine years, and that was my recent company as a consultant traveling the world. And it kept me there because every day was freaking amazing traveling the world with this company. I think the only reason I left was because COVID hit and I got locked in my bedroom and I couldn't do my job and I got stressed out, and I was like, forget this. I'm going to go backpacking through Mexico. I apologize, but I got to quit. I might still be there now, so I might hit the 12 years. So that's a really long-winded way to say, Amy, what keeps you there every day?
I think there's a couple things. And you know how you were saying, you learn and you grow and you learn and you grow. I can do that here. So, I back when I was thinking about like what do I want to do with my life? Like we're talking like high school. I was like, I want to start my own business. Then I don't know, I lived a little and I was like, that's a lot. That's a lot. But I do basically have my own business here, and I have had so many opportunities to take my own ideas and turn them into reality here, and that's super exciting for me. And they trust me to do that, and that's awesome. And so I think one of my favorite things that I had done here, I was doing interviews with a lot of the manufacturing leadership that I was working with because for a lot of reasons, but that actually started right around the pandemic. And I had a lot more time on my hands as I was home. And I was like, wow, these people that I work with, meaning my clients, the people, the manufacturing leaders that I get to work with they're so smart, they're so hardworking, they have such a wealth of information, they're fun to talk to. This is like so cool. But they don't all know each other. So I was thinking like they would like each other. I know that they would. So I started interviewing them. And I called it the Take Five Initiative. And it was all text though. It was, an article that I would write and then put it on LinkedIn. And they let me run with that, even though it was time out of my day, even though it was using company resources, they were like, no, this is a really good idea. You should run with this. You should do it. And that was really amazing. And it is that way here where, if I find an association that I think we should support, I state my case and usually they trust not just me, but, everybody that they have here because um, they choose the people that work for them and then we choose to stay. So there's a lot of trust here, for sure. And another thing that I love is how much we give back to the community. Um,
Mm.
yeah, when I came here, I had some experience working for Make-A-Wish. They were the other thing that I did with some of my summertime when I was in college is that I interned with Make-A-Wish and I helped them raise money for the Rochester community so that they could grant wishes for these little kids. And so I kept that seed in my mind and thought, I want to come back to this at some point in my life. And so when I got to First American, they have this initiative to give back to the community, and they allowed me to run with it. So we get volunteer time off. We get 20 hours a year where we can take time out of our day and give back to the Rochester community. And it's helped me become very involved with Make-A-Wish again, which is really rewarding for me. It really brings something wonderful to my life that, wouldn't be there. And if I didn't have the ability to take time off, I probably would still do it, but it would have been harder to access that. It would have been harder to bring that into my life. And so stuff like that is what keeps me around. And I have not even really touched on how much pride I feel when I help a manufacturing company reach the next level. I mean, that's the other thing. I love that. And I love visiting my clients and seeing what I've financed for them. And a lot of them will say, like, Amy, you helped us get here. And there's no bigger compliment than that to me. It makes me smile so big. It means so much. It's a really rewarding career for me. So that's what keeps me around, I would say.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chicago, Illinois, this is IMTS.
The point of us being here today is because we're doing Faces of the Industry, talking with MC and Bonnie. They want to see as much representation amongst everyone as we can, and what better to offer that than MTD with a global channel and people all over the world. In fact, today we're representing Canada, Mexico, US, and Pakistan.
23 years in manufacturing, I actually go to IMTS this year with you, with everybody here at this table, and we get to go to all of these different booths. But it's just, the theme this year, every booth I go to, everyone's talking about partnership, everyone's talking about collaboration, not just working with us, but working with partners in industry. They're all finding ways that their products complement each other, how they can support the customer better, and that has had me so revved up all week. I mean, my voice is gonna die. I wanna go to bed, but at the same time, I cannot pull it back. I am just blown away by the experience.
That's a really great answer. And your next question from me will be to share a story, if you can, maybe a favorite story or a memorable story. You can pull on my heartstrings a little bit if you'd like to. On the manufacturing side of things, of a company or a friend you were able to help, that'll be my next one. But before we get to that, may I share a story with you about community service that might resonate?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear one.
So in 2014, I launched a natural healing company. The purpose of the natural healing company was to help those people who were kind of sick of Western medicine, maybe have an alternative preventive maintenance solution. You know, there's a difference between sick care and health care.
Yeah.
And so I launched this company, and the profits for the first couple of years, 100% of the profits went to 14 different charities. And one of those charities is a company called Give Kids the World. And Give Kids the World is connected with Disney and also connected with Make-A-Wish. So they would always bring kids down. And what Give Kids the World does is they fly the family in and the terminally ill person and give them 7 days there. I believe it's 7 days. Somebody can go to Chat GPT and see if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 7 days, and each day is a different holiday because this might be the last year that they're around, right? Before they transcend. So they'll have like Halloween and Christmas, and you know, each day is, and it's like unlimited ice cream, and all of it is free thanks to people like Make-A-Wish and thanks to Disney and these places. So while we had 14 charities supporting the earth, animals, and people, I think that was one of my favorite ones to participate in. So I'm with you. I love being of service to others. It brings me joy every single day. I completely understand you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had not heard of that before. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
super
really
cool.
I love it.
I have an old video from about 2015, I want to say, where we went into this place and filmed and gave them like some treats and some tea. The Natural Healing Company was kind of around tea, so we donated all this stuff. I'm gonna send you the link. It's an old video. It's really poorly edited. I did the editing, but someone like you, I think, will enjoy it. So
I bet I will. Yeah,
I'll find it on YouTube if I can, or in my hard drive somewhere, and I'll send it to you. All right, are you ready for that next question that I got you ready for previously, which is, can you think of a story in manufacturing with your first American Equipment finance where you were able to like help? Like what is your greatest memory so far?
There are a couple.
I love when you have to think about it. I know it's going to be a good story when you think about it.
For sure. I would say one of my favorite is, and I know that they wouldn't mind me sharing this because I talk about it all the time and I always ask their permission. I work with a company in Phoenix, Arizona that makes armor for the military. Not only our own military, but some European countries as well. You know, different police organizations around our country. And I've known them for a long time. So I knew them when they were smaller. And I just thought they had such a cool business. I thought it was an impactful business. I thought it was an important business. I wanted to be a part of it. And so, I just started looking up everybody I could who worked there. And I just kept telling them, like, I believe in this. I think this is great. I want to be a part of this. And, after a few years, I got my first meeting after a few years. This is this is how long it takes sometimes. And when I first started talking to them, they were pretty small, but a new CFO came around and I was his first phone call. And since then, their company has grown largely in part to some equipment that I financed for them. They were outsourcing part of their process. It was what they would have needed to do it themselves was a press, a really big press that had much more pressure than they had access to with their current equipment. So they had been outsourcing that to someone else who had a press that had a certain amount of PSI, which is just pressure. And they were like, we have this idea. We want to bring this in-house. We think that it could be great for us, but we really want this one press. This is the one we want. And the PSI on that press was more than anyone else in the industry had. So if they got their hands on this press, it was going to be game changing for them. It was going to help them get market share. It was going to help them grow their business. So they did get their press. They got their press, and I was able to finance that for them. It was, kind of a complicated thing. The equipment was coming from overseas, and the vendor needed payments, and we were able to extend those payments to the vendor overseas while they waited for the press to be, manufactured and delivered to them. And they have their press, they have gained market share, they have grown so much since then. And it's really, really fun to go see them because every time I go see them, they have, like a new building. I mean, every time I see that campus, it has grown incredibly. And I am just so proud to be a part of it. And they're one of the companies when I go, they say, Amy, you helped us do this. You were a part of this. And it's incredible. I mean, it means so much to me and it's amazing.
Thank you for pulling on my heartstrings. I got a couple of chills from that. I love it. We don't have a million hours left, but I would like to ask you. I have a follow-up question that we're gonna close this out with, and it's fairly cliche, but I'm gonna surprise you with it. Well, how much of a surprise can cliche be? Anyway, I'm starting to get redundant on myself. All right, so give me there's a lot of people who listen to this show that own their own shops, that are working within their shops. A lot of people listen to podcasts when they're driving down the road or on airplanes. These are places where, or in their or running their machine. These are places where we oftentimes have an opportunity to think, right? We listen to podcasts because we want to be educated, entertained, maybe we want to learn something or laugh, whatever it might be. So in this free space that we're given, where we're not always under pressure, is oftentimes where we make a lot of decisions. So why, First American Manufacturing Finance, why would a company want to work with you versus, and we don't have to name drop anyone else, but why you? Why your company? What do you bring to the table that can help them succeed?
Yeah, well, that's a great question and one that I answer all the time. So manufacturing companies, they need a lot of equipment. That's really how they make their business work. And so we have expertise in equipment. We have low rates just like a bank would. We're actually owned by a bank. We're owned by the Royal Bank of Canada. So the rates that you see from us are as low as what you would get from the bank. In addition to that, though, you get someone who really understands, the equipment, how the process works when you order it from the vendor, when it's going to get there. We understand how important it is to your business. And because we only focus on equipment finance, we have a whole group of people here who can help you through all stages of this. So when someone works with me, they have, me and a project manager who's dedicated to them. They have a credit team who works solely with manufacturing companies. So they're used to seeing manufacturing credits all day long. Throughout the life of the lease or the finance arrangement that they have for their equipment, they can call us at any time. I'm always available. So, I mean, that is a big difference than working with a really big bank. You're probably going to have to just kind of call a number. You would actually get to speak with me, and I'm just a small town girl and I love to talk. So I'm definitely going to pick up the phone. So that's really wonderful. And then, we have a whole group here called the Asset Management Department who all day, every day analyzes how much equipment is worth. Where would we be able to resell it? Should it come back to us? All of those things. And so that really works for our clients as well. So, especially nowadays when equipment is changing so quickly because technology is changing so quickly. It's really, really helpful for a company to work with an organization who understands that, can help them resell equipment if they decide it's time to upgrade. We can do all of those sorts of things where a bank typically does not help with any of that stuff at all. So I would say, it's the hands-on, you get to work with real people who know you and know your business, and we understand equipment. And so that's really, really helpful for manufacturers.
Can you quickly drop a website before I forget to ask you?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, faef.com. So F like Frank, A like Apple, E like Edward, F like Frank, faef.com is our website. And so you can go there and there's some really wonderful testimonial videos from our clients. The one that I spoke about is on there, so you can see them speak about it for themselves if you'd like, and all sorts of great information. And you can also contact me. I'm sure that we can share my contact information. Somehow it's amy.weader@faef.com. If you're interested in equipment finance, we do lots of machinery. So things like, CNC machines, injection molding machines, plastic extrusion machinery. We also do facility build out costs. So like if you need to knock some walls down to get some new equipment in or get some new electric or move the water lines, we can help you finance all that. Software, forklifts, computers, all sorts of things.
I love it. I love it. So can you finance me if I want to start a machine shop?
We have never financed a person. No, I don't think that.
Sure. Yeah. Let's make it
You're
a
all
first
over the
time.
world too. That would be a big problem with the credit department. They'd be like, "Where is this asset located?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. He travels way too much." So
We're gonna put a place with big windows, oceanfront in Miami, and that's where we're gonna have our machine shop.
that sounds great. I mean, if you're talking, yes, let's do that. That would be awesome. Give me a call.
This is Shop Rescue.
I am Andrew Lusty. I'm account executive for Datanomics. We are the next generation of production intelligence in manufacturing. Well, our slogan is make manufacturing great again, and well, the little guys where it all starts. Every 2-guy shop, 5-machine shop turns into a 50-machine shop, and participating, right, is back to really our roots. The outcome I'd love to see is looking at even the little guys and the smaller manufacturers and understanding how they can create an ecosystem of technology that allows them to force multiply, right? And through that, right, is really all about being efficient. And that's what I think everybody here is bringing to the table.
All right, last question of the day. It's a cliche one, but it would be remiss of me not to ask you. It's something that we need to talk about. It's something that's talked about a lot. It's something that's talked about more so now than ever before, which is women in trades. You have a platform, you have a spotlight. Today is the day to discuss that. One of my best friends in the whole wide world, Megan Zimba, Mavens of Manufacturing. She's done a wonderful job. And then there's other amazing women out there that are helping other women, lifting other women up. WIM is incredible. But I know, to my knowledge, Megan was one of the first ones with Mavens of Manufacturing to kind of make this a highlight, right? So I like to give her a shout out when I can. And to be fair, I think we're all starting to recognize that we weren't paying attention before, and now we are. So how do we convey this information to our kids, especially the women or the diversity out there who sees this as just, oh gosh, I'm gonna say it. I have to say it. I apologize. The white man's world. I apologize. But when you look into an association, a lot of that is what you see, and we me personally, for sure, I want to walk into a room and just see a percentage of everyone. And I've been thinking every day, how can I inspire? How can I help inspire? And I'm not sure that I can, because I am what the room looks like, but you can. And my friends can, like my Drew Crow buddy out there who's doing an incredible job. Megan can. So if I can offer a platform through any way possible for you to share those types of things, then that's really the best way for me to help inspire, is through bringing people on who are inspirational. And that's my goal. So I hope this has been long-winded enough to give you the opportunity to think about women in manufacturing, your perspective of it, if you would recommend it for other women. And to be fair, you are on the finance side of things. And when we first think of manufacturing, a lot of us go, okay, immediately our brain goes to the shop floor, running a machine, programming a robot, doing CAD, this type of stuff. But the great part of this conversation, Amy, is that there are so many different openings in manufacturing that anyone can fit just about anywhere they want and have a wonderful career. So was that long enough? Was that enough
Loved it.
of
It
me
was great.
blabbering on?
Well, I love
Think
it
about
because
the
I can
answer.
tell you're passionate about it, and you can tell. I mean, that's where that's I think where that's coming from. That's awesome. There are so many ways I think that women can be involved in manufacturing, and I've met so many wonderful women doing this work. So, it's interesting because I was at an association event this year, and there was someone there who was speaking to young women about STEM. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. You know, like I didn't get into STEM though. I'm in finance. And she was like, well, that's also STEM though, you know? And I was like, oh, I guess,
Mathematics.
yeah, yep, it is. It's mathematics. So she was like, you actually are. So, get that out of your head. You definitely are in STEM. And she had a really wonderful program where they go into schools and spoke to young women and girls about, different areas that they could go into to be involved in science and mathematics. And a lot of the times that leads to manufacturing. I think that the more anybody sees women in a manufacturing role in any capacity, the more likely young women will be to consider that for themselves. And so I can't speak for every woman. I can only speak for myself, but I'm happy to be an example of how someone can get involved in manufacturing. And I can tell everyone from my experience working in the manufacturing industry, the quality of people that I get to work with is just so absolutely top notch. Like very humble people, very down to earth people, very driven people. It's a really wonderful feeling to be surrounded by those kinds of people all the time. It pushes me to be a better person. And I think that if you looked at manufacturing overall, that's really the heart of it is, hardworking people, down to earth, humble people who are just really, really trying to work hard to deserve everything that they get. And it makes you a better person to be around that. So the quality of people I think is fantastic. Um, I've seen lots of pockets of manufacturing where there gets to be like a group of women who start to work together, and that draws more people in. So that's really great. So I would love to see more of that. I'm involved with WIM, and I'll have to check out the other organizations that you're mentioning as well, because I love participating in those organizations. It's wonderful. It's so inspiring.
Well, you are an inspiration as well. And I'm not sure what percentage of our audience is watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, but if you're watching on YouTube, I think I saw the first two guys walk by behind Amy for the first time all this entire hour. The rest of them were women. So you have a lot of women in your facility, which I think is cool.
Yeah, it's very true. Yes, we work very hard to be representative of the community that we live in every way. So, absolutely, yes.
Well,
I'm not.
your community is a snow globe. You live in the snow globe of the U.S. up there in Rochester, New
Yeah,
York.
it was snowing today, actually, and I'm over it for the year. It needs to just be done.
Come on down to Florida. I'm here for a whole couple more days before I hit the road again.
I love Florida. I was just there actually in Crystal River, Florida. My son loves manatees, and we swam with manatees. Have you ever done that?
I've been around them plenty of times because they're around, but I've not swam with them. How
Yeah,
was it?
it was really cool. I didn't know. He talked me into it. He's 9 and he's adorable. So I was like, okay, I guess. But it was really cool.
And how did he like it? If he loves manatees, did it make
He
his
was
dreams come true?
It did. He was in awe. He was in awe. So he's got this really big heart and he loves animals and they were close to extinction. So he knew all about this and he's been studying it for a few years now. So he was really quiet that day, but at the end of the day on the way home, he was like, I just can't believe that happened to me, Mom. I'm so happy. So it was
How cool.
yeah.
All right, Amy, we're going to close this thing out, but I want to make sure that you have had the opportunity to share anything that I have not asked you today. So I'm going to give you a moment. If you have any closing statements, if you just want to give me a virtual high five, totally up to you. If you've said everything already, but give you an opportunity if there's anything that I didn't ask you today that you would like to touch on before I close this out.
No, I don't think so. This was so much fun. I really appreciate it. If anyone listening is interested in speaking with me in regards to finance, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. And yeah, this is great. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, this is the lovely and amazing Amy Weader, Vice President, First American Manufacturing Finance. Reach out to them anytime. Before I shut this thing down all the way, thank you so much to our sponsors. We truly appreciate you. I cannot do this show without you. This is powered by MTD CNC, but let's give a shout out real quick to all of our friends. NTMA, we love you guys. Keep bringing the communities together. AMT and IMTS, an amazing show. Who doesn't love that show? Weader Growth Systems, guaranteeing that they'll triple's a lot, double your profits within 3 years. That's how I got my numbers mixed up. Shop Floor Coffee right beside me. We got Revelation Machinery, making sure your machines are delivered without crashing. I know that might be, well, I'll leave that out. And who else? Oh, American Precision Museum. That's how I got this shaper right over my shoulder here. The American Precision Museum, the original Silicon Valley of precision manufacturing. If you've not been, I highly recommend it. But if you can't make it to the middle of nowhere, Vermont, an hour and a half away from any of the airports, hop online to MTD CNC where you can visit almost like the real thing. It's like an hour and a half tour we put on there, and you can donate and you can support them. And it's one of the more fascinating manufacturing places I've been to. All right. Oh, I almost left out Tecma. We can't leave them out. They're on the shirts. So Tecma is switching places in Mexico City into Santa Fe area of Mexico City. Still in Mexico City, but coming really soon, and definitely going to be there for that as well. All right, my friends, thank you all for listening, watching, paying attention. Amy, thank you for your smile, your personality, your friendship, and your dedication to manufacturing and for being a woman in manufacturing. We truly appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Gunn Show. Thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and supporting the manufacturing movement that keeps the world turning. We couldn't do this without you, or without our incredible sponsors who believe in this mission as much as we do. Big thanks to Revelation Machinery, bringing the auction hammer down on deals so good it feels like daylight robbery, but legal. Whether you're buying or selling, they've got your back. To Weader Growth Systems, your factory's secret weapon for scaling up profits, leadership, and sanity. Because spreadsheets don't fix culture, but these guys might. To AMT and IMTS, the innovators behind the biggest show in manufacturing. If you want to see the future, you show up at IMTS. To NTMA, the voice of precision manufacturers across the U.S., fighting for shops like yours every single day. To Tecma, Mexico's premier machine tool exhibition, bridging borders and bringing global technology closer to home. To Shop Floor Coffee, the only coffee that tastes like a 5-axis machine running lights out on a Monday morning, delicious and dedicated to workforce development. And last but never least, the American Precision Museum, honoring the roots of American manufacturing while inspiring the next generation to build what's next. Powered by MTD CNC and fueled by passion, this is The Gunn Show. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep making things that move the world.